From the glory days of Hollywood to the contemporary talk show circuit, live television has never lost the ability to make stars or break them in real time. Over the decades, audiences have welcomed celebrities into their living rooms, buying into the carefully constructed personas that studios and publicists toil so valiantly to preserve. But how do these houses of cards crumble before the eyes of millions of viewers, unscripted and unfiltered? The outcome can be cataclysmic. Careers spent decades developing personally and professionally can be destroyed in just minutes. Some times are recalled with humor, some in astonishment, and some in profound regret. But all include one inescapable fact: talk shows have finished more careers than they have ever begun. These 15 stars give the best examples of how one appearance can wipe out decades of goodwill, turn fans into doubters, and make icons cautionary tales. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. Most well-known is probably Tom Cruise and the couch jump heard round the world. Cruise was the most bankable movie star alive at the time, earning salaries in excess of $25 million per picture and carrying movies that grossed billions for the studios. But in May 2005, on Oprah Winfrey's stage, he sprinted across a couch proclaiming his love for Katie Holmes. Initially, it appeared to be goofy fervor, but as his frenzied antics continued, kneeling, pumping fists, yelling, it seemed less like euphoria and more like deranged mania. Oprah attempted to bring him under control, teasing, "You're gone. You are gone," but the harm had already been done. People at home didn't watch a romantic film star, they watched someone who looked unbalanced. The punchlines followed immediately. Late-night talk show hosts gorged on him, and the internet, a youthful but already merciless beast, made his couch stunt a meme before memes were even a thing. Worse yet was his second appearance alongside Matt Lauer on The Today Show, when his apology for Scientology and disdain for psychiatry became confrontational. "You don't know the history of psychiatry." "I do," Cruise lectured. Within weeks, Paramount cut its deal with him, declaring his actions creative suicide. A career that had been apparently invulnerable now appeared tenuous. Cruise ultimately reinvented himself through relentless action performance and franchise allegiance. But for a decade, he was the subject of late-night comedy jokes, all because of a few minutes he was unable to keep in check on national television. Michael Richards, forever remembered as Kramer from Seinfeld, provides another chilling example. For nearly a decade, he had been one of the most beloved comedy characters of all time. But in November 2006, everything unraveled. After hurling racial slurs at hecklers during a comedy set, Richards attempted to save face by apologizing via satellite on The Late Show with David Letterman. Jerry Seinfeld sat uncomfortably next to David Letterman as Richards rambled. The audience laughed, believing it was some odd bit of comedy, until Seinfeld broke the illusion, saying, "Stop laughing. It's not funny." Richards' insistence that "I'm not a racist, that's what's so insane about this," only made things worse. His remorse rang false, his words strange, and the image of him as a charming eccentric was killed on camera. He walked away from stand-up a few days later, his career boiled down to reruns and uncomfortable remembrances. What could have been a footnote in poor judgment became a career-killing scandal due to one excruciatingly mishandled talk show moment. Madonna had long been accustomed to controversy, but her 1994 visit to David Letterman redefined even hers. Strutting on stage in underwear as a prop, smoking a cigar, and letting fly with profanities more than a dozen times, she pushed the patience of even a host famous for his dry sarcasm. With more than 130 bleeps necessary in the broadcast, critics labeled the episode vulgar, not provocative. Her music suffered as stations refused to play her material, and her subsequent album did poorly in comparison to her previous successes. Although Madonna later reinvented herself, that evening was a turning point in terms of her image and how she was perceived, from cultural iconoclast to being increasingly desperate to provoke. Joan Rivers, the queen of biting celebrity satire, had her own embarrassing moment in 2014. Appearing on CNN to hawk a book, she bristled when interviewer Frederica Whitfield referred to her comments as mean. Rivers went ballistic, snapping, "It's not mean. I tell the truth. Are you wearing leather shoes? Then shut up," before removing her earpiece and storming off the set. The viral video framed her more as a grumpy old relic than a bold comic, and less as one who was afraid to accept criticism. Tragically, she died just 2 months later, leaving her cringe-worthy interview as one of her last public appearances. Hugh Grant, the then handsome face of British rom-coms, also became a victim of the talk show curse. Following 4 weddings and a funeral, Grant was all set for superstardom. Even his notorious 1995 arrest with a prostitute did not drown him. His apology to Jay Leno endeared him further. But years later on The Daily Show, Jon Stewart labeled him the worst guest ever, publicly revealing Grant's diva antics, his incessant griping over film clips, and his overall belligerence backstage. The news stunned viewers and executives alike. Although Grant eventually confessed his inner crab bested him, the professional harm stuck. Starring parts dried up, and he had to remake himself years afterward as a character actor in movies such as Florence Foster Jenkins. Roseanne Barr's 2018 fall came quickly and ruthlessly. Her revived sitcom had been a smash hit, attracting ratings nearly unprecedented in the new millennium. And then, one racist Valerie Jarrett tweet lost her everything in one morning. ABC canceled her show, reruns vanished, and coworkers gave her space. Her talk show apology tour merely widened the gash. Her rationalizations regarding medication, her denial that she knew Jarrett was black, and her irate defensiveness on Dr. Oz made her seem bitter and unapologetic. ABC relaunched the show as The Conners without her, and Barr found herself outside of an industry in which she had only recently returned. Kanye West, or Ye, is perhaps the most extreme contemporary example. His 2018 radio silence on Jimmy Kimmel Live, unable to articulate his political allegiance, was cringeworthy enough, but his subsequent appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored in 2022 tore down his commercial empire. When called out on his anti-Semitic comments, he fumbled through equivocating excuses, refusing to truly own up. Adidas, Gap, Balenciaga, and more terminated relationships worth billions. His net worth fell from billionaire to lowly millionaire overnight. Whereas Cruz's collapse was temporary, a phase, Kanye's collapse was live-streamed in real time by his talk show monologues. Norm Macdonald's 2018 press tour should have been a victorious one, with his Netflix series finally bestowing him the recognition he was owed. Instead, his inelegantly expressed defense of Louis C.K. and Roseanne Barr burned everything down. His planned Tonight Show appearance was scrapped, and his damage control attempt on The View only widened the damage when he employed the use of Down syndrome as a flip metaphor. Fans winced as he burrowed deeper with every sentence. Although Netflix premiered his series, it fell silently out of sight after 1 season. Macdonald's career did not recover fully before he died, with one disastrous interview leaving a stain on his legacy. Charlie Sheen's 2011 meltdown on Good Morning America is still one of the most notorious talk show train wrecks ever. Stating that he had tiger blood and was by winning, Sheen came across as manic, egotistical, and clearly unhinged. Meant as a justification to protect his 2.5 Men gig, it only sealed CBS's fate in firing him. Costing himself more than $100 million in lost earnings, Sheen's collapse turned into a cultural joke instead of a sympathetic thought. Mark Wahlberg's inebriated shenanigans on The Graham Norton Show in 2013 reminded everyone of his tough past, right as he had solidified himself as a serious producer-actor. Slurring, interrupting, and getting Sarah Silverman visibly flustered, Wahlberg embarrassed himself so much that projects fell through afterward. While he bounced back, the incident was a stain on his well-constructed image. Joaquin Phoenix's bizarre 2009 interview with David Letterman, where he appeared disheveled, silent, and incomprehensible, was later revealed as a hoax for his mockumentary I'm Still Here. But because no one was in on the joke, the fallout was devastating. For years, directors refused to cast him, thinking he had lost his grip. The prank cost him years of career momentum and millions in earnings, only redeemed much later when he returned with the Master and eventually Joker. Shia LaBeouf's succession of strange sightings in 2013 and 2014 wrecked his leading man track. His enigmatic no-comment responses to Ellen DeGeneres and incoherent drug-fueled ramblings on Jimmy Kimmel Live made him look unstable. His "I am not famous anymore" paper bag hoax sealed the perception of a flighty, untrustworthy actor. He went from being proclaimed as the next Harrison Ford to independent art projects, his blockbuster career irreparably derailed. Farrah Fawcett's 1997 Letterman appearance was tragic, not salacious. Then, the most glamorous American woman, she appeared incoherent, laughing, and spacey on stage. Audience members wondered about drugs or sickness, but whatever the reason, her status as an icon disintegrated. What was intended to be a light-hearted plug for her Playboy cover became the enduring photograph of her public breakdown. Geraldo Rivera's legendary 1988 talk show fight, which resulted in a broken nose when a chair struck him, became the emblem of trash TV. Although he had been a serious journalist, the set-piece quality of the mayhem ruined his reputation, leaving him a tabloid celebrity. It took him years to restore his career, but the memory of his bloody nose followed him forever. Lastly, James Brown's 1988 CNN interview is perhaps one of the most bizarre talk show moments of all time. When questioned regarding his domestic violence arrest, Brown spoke incoherently, slurring words, and not making sense. Rumors of drug use were later confirmed when he was involved in a high-speed police chase. The appearance signaled the start of his fall in public regard, besmirching one of the biggest musical legacies of the 20th century. Combined, these 15 tales form a pattern. Talk shows, with their informality and absence of script, remove the gloss upon which celebrities subsist. A terrible movie or record may be excused, but a catastrophic live interview lays bare the human vulnerabilities of individuals who subsist on myth and illusion. Whether with arrogance, inebriation, fury, or poor performance art, these celebrities learned the cold, hard reality. In a time when every moment is taped, played back, and memed, a single misstep can cost millions, a lifetime of achievements, and a whole legacy. Talk shows promise connection, but for these stars they promise something much crueler, a platform for their own public suicide.